Oh, it's really dark. Hello, and welcome to
Don't kill the cat! Ha!
number 9. We're about to look into a series of very curious topics. The quote of this episode is in Bulgarian. A job that is rapidly done is shameful for the master craftsman that does it, for the professional or specialist, meaning that if you do something too fast, then you're probably going to make mistakes. This quote is actually contradictory to the one from the previous episode. Gather what you will from them both to determine how you're going to handle about your business. Today's episode is kind of interesting in the sense that the topics are slightly connected and have to do with geography. The etymology, actually, we're going to be looking at the etymology of the first topic. There's a sea, it's right below the Bosphorus, so it's within Turkey, even though there's two straits that separate mainland Turkey from the Bosphorus region. It's called in Turkish, the original name is Marmara. But what was interesting to me is that the Bulgarian nomenclature is Marble Sea. It translates to Marble Sea, Sea of Marble, which maybe it could be a coincidence, but let's see. The Sea of Marmara is named after the largest island on its south side called Marmara Island because it is rich in marmalade. Marble. So Greek marmaron, marble. And I think that there is a Greek name Marmaris. Oh, interesting. It's a different part of Turkey. And I'm sure that the name has a Greek origin because as we know that this was where ancient Greek extended to. Oh, Rhodes. Marble, Turkish murmur. Mermer. Maybe there's a connection between murmuring as well. Marble trade. In classical antiquity, it was known as Propontis, from the Greek words pro before, pontus, sea. Interesting. Pont, so point translates to sea, like a port, reflecting the fact that the ancient Greeks used to sail through it to reach the Black Sea, which they called Pontos. Also, this is before Pontus. In Greek mythology, a storm on the Propontis brought the Argonauts back to an island they had left, precipitating a battle in which either Jason or Heracles killed King Cisseus, who had mistaken them for his Pelasgian enemies. So it's right above the Aegean Sea. So we're looking at Marmaris as well, the etymology. During the period of Beylik of Mantense, the city became known as Marmaris, a name derived from the Greek Marmaron, marble, Turkish mermer, in reference to the rich marble deposits in the region and the prominent role of the city's port and marble trade.
Don't kill the cat! Ha!
The Sea of Marmara, also known as Sea of Marmora or the Marmara Sea, is an inland sea located entirely within the borders of Turkey. It connects the Black Sea to the Aegean Sea via the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Straits, separating Turkey's European and Asian sides. So, mainland Turkey is, considered a part of Asia, even though it's practically in Europe, or at least the Arabian region. It has an area of 11,350 square kilometers. Dimensions are 280 kilometers by 80 kilometers. Its greatest depth is 1,370 meters. So it goes deep. There's compression in the tectonic plates. So maybe that's what causes the extreme depressions within the faults and a mountain, along Turkey's north side. So here are some images. Here are some statistics, facts as they call them. This one was interesting. Algal bloom on the Sea of Marmara. Rapid increase or accumulation in the population of algae in freshwater or marine water systems. You can see it from above. It's really interesting. It outlines all the currents. I wanted to read some history, but I'm not seeing any. The Turkish Straits are two internationally significant waterways in northern Turkey. The straits create a series of international passages that connect the Aegean and Mediterranean seas to the Black Sea. They consist of the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus Straits. The straits are on opposite ends of the Sea of Marmara, part of the sovereign sea territory of Turkey, and are treated as Turkish internal waters. Located in the western part of the landmass of Eurasia, the straits are conventionally considered the boundary between the continents of Europe and Asia, as well as the dividing line between European Turkey and Asian Turkey. Owing to their strategic importance in international commerce, politics, and warfare, the straits have played a significant role in European and world history. Since 1936, they have been governed in accordance with the Montreux Convention. Crucial international waterways, in particular for the passage of goods coming from Russia. So Turkey is playing war games with the straits. Has been, at least. This episode is particularly special because of the connection between the three topics. They all have to do with travel, or geography, as I said. The Thomas Guide.
Don't kill the cat! Ah!
Thomas Guide is a series of paperback spiral-bound atlases featuring detailed street maps of various large metropolitan areas in the United States. The map books are usually arranged by county. For example, separate Thomas Guides have been published for Los Angeles County and San Diego County. There are also guides that will have 2 or 3 counties combined, for example, Los Angeles and Orange County. Each guide has a detailed index of streets and points of interest, as well as aerial maps for easy page location. It's hard to imagine what it is without actually seeing it. This is pretty much how we used to do map navigation before there was the internet, GPS. Thomas Guides were a local icon in Southern California for decades, with many companies including the Thomas Guide map grid information for their locations in Yellow Pages listings and other advertisements. After January 2004, many important things in the guides were cut to save money. The valued POI index was no longer updated. Thinner and cheaper paper was used in the map guides. The Irvine source department was closed and no customer corrections were taken or recorded. Many guides were no longer printed yearly. The book name was dropped to just Thomas Guide, and colors changed to match Rand McNally colors, the company that purchased them, and product line releases. The popular map store was closed at Irvine Building, which was the last TBM store to close. An updated Thomas Guide was published in 2021, 3 years after its previous update. Larry Thomas, majority owner of the Thomas Maps brand, noted that California's state legislation requires police and fire vehicles to carry Thomas Guides, and that the brand sold 1,000 to 1,500 guides per year. So it means that everyone's relying on their internet now. Oh, they have a lot of regions documented. They started printing these maps in 1915. It's crazy. It's a very useful tool. So this is pretty much what it is. It's a really thick book binder. That's like a ring binder that you have like a detailed index where you find the specific location that you're going to be going to, and then you go to the page that it says that it's on, and you look for the specific directions, the specific streets and roads which you're going to turn in. And it's easy in the US because all streets have name plates, have their names on each corner, each crossing, so you know which street you're on and which street you want to turn on. It's unfortunate that it's gone overboard, but it was I remember my father used this in the early days. Here it is, and it gives you area codes as well. So that's the Thomas Guide. Here it is. This is the page which each of these areas is on. And the last topic, random topic, is grade or slope of road.
Don't kill the cat! Ah!
The grade, US, or gradient, UK, also called depth, slope, incline, mainfall, pitch, or rise of a physical feature, landform, or constructed line refers to the tangent of the angle of the surface to the horizontal. It is a special case of the slope where 0 indicates horizontality, a larger number indicates higher or steeper degree of tilt. Often, slope is calculated as a ratio of rise to run, or as a fraction, see rise over run, in which run is the horizontal distance not to the distance along the slope, and rise is the vertical distance. Okay, that was a bunch of math talk, but anyway. Oh, and here's the image. Slopes of existing physical features such as canyons and hillsides, stream and river banks and beds are often described as grades, but typically the word grade is used for human-made surfaces such as roads, landscape grading, roof pitches, railroads, aqueducts, and pedestrian or bicycle routes. The grade may refer to the longitudinal slope of the perpendicular cross slope. Bunch of math here. Okay, examples of slopes in various notations. So I wanted to see examples of what's considered possible for vehicles to climb. So here it says 25 degrees for a railway, 30 degrees for a railway. What is this? 47 degrees. Cable cars, okay. So we're seeing 20 degrees maximum grade. What's a rack railway? It's another small cart type of vehicle. So 16 degrees, 17, a 30% percentage of slope, I guess, is already considered an extremely steep road. Very steep road is 14 degrees. Steep road is considered 11.3 degrees. 5 degrees is considered a steep road. So maybe it has a different effect on vehicles. It's harder to climb up a road if it's too steep for the vehicle. 10% slope warning sign in the Netherlands. What was 10%? 10% is 5 degrees, which is considered a steep road. 7% Finland. 25% Wales. Yeah. 18%. Environmental design. Grade, pitch, and slope are important components in landscape design, garden design, landscape architecture, and architecture for engineering and aesthetic design factors. Drainage, slope stability, circulation of people and vehicles, complying with building codes, and design integration are all aspects of slope considerations and environmental design. So here it's in a fraction. Steepest railway that do not use a rack system. 13.5 is the steepest in Portugal.
Give me that. Let me give you that. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some.
So I guess it's easier for trains to move up a slope than it is for vehicles, I guess. Quora says 7% by law in the US, federal and state systems, but up to 15% for local roads. Meaning, we love our tables. So 15 is about 8 degrees, and 7 is about 4 degrees. Okay. Thank you for joining me on episode number 9 of